Hello, happy Tuesday. I hope everyone is doing wonderful and getting off to a great start with the beginning of this week. So today I am going to show you how to make this lovely card. So this is just a standard fold card, but it is using one of my favorite, although sad to say, retiring bundles from our mini catalog. So this is using the Honeybee stamp set and the coordinating detailed bees dies that go with this. So hopefully people will start to pop in and join us today as we start paper crafting. Oh, Ginger, hey Ginger, good to see ya. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to do a fun technique on one of the layers that every time you do it is going to look different. So let's get started. I did not write down my card layers this time, so we'll see if I can remember. But after the video, I will make sure I put all the measurements in the description so you'll have your complete supply list. So we're going to start off with a 4 1/4 by 11 inch thick, very vanilla card base. I've scored it at 5 1/2 because I find that when I cut my cardstock this direction, it works better if I go ahead and score that. So that is going to be my card base. And then I've got another piece of thick, very vanilla. And if I remember my measurements, this is 3 3/4 by 5. And then I've got another 3 3/4 inch by 5, and this is regular vanilla cardstock. So the thick one's going to be on the outside layer, and then the regular vanilla is going to be on the inside layer. And then I've got 2 pieces of basic black cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. A piece of watercolor paper. Let's see if I can remember. I think this is 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. Again, I will put the measurements in the description. So if I'm telling anything incorrect, you will have the right measurements. This is 4 inches, I believe, wrap of basic black cardstock. All right, so let's get started and put our card together. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fold my card base in half along that score line and run my bone folder across that crease to give it a nice good fold, okay? I don't know if you can see it on the card when I get close, but there is a texture on this basic black layer here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take one of these basic black sheets, and I'm going to use the brick and mortar embossing folder, the 3D embossing folder. I'm going to slide this inside the embossing folder, and then I'm going to make my sandwich with the 3D embossing folder plate and the basic platform, and I'm going to run this through the Big Shot, or sorry, our die cutting embossing machine. You can use any machine you'd like, and then this is what it's going to do, is add this nice texture to the layer. You don't have to do this. I like the extra detail that's in the card and having that texture, but again, you could keep it simpler and skip that layer if you'd like to, or skip texturing that layer if you'd like to. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of snail adhesive on the back of this layer. And I'm just going to lay that right down on my card front. See if I can get that even. Perfect. So again, I really like that layer there. That texture added to that layer anyway. All right, next I am going to take my thick Whisper White cardstock layer, and I am going to use the Stitched Nested Labels dies. So this is the 3rd largest die in there, and I am going to place this and run this through my Big Shot. I like to use the magnetic platform with a cutting pad and then another cutting pad on top. So I'll cut this out. I'm not showing you the Big Shot, the die cutting piece, but you'll see that here. So I've got these 2 pieces left here. So this layer here I'm going to use to stamp the bee on, and then this will be my layer that goes up on this piece here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set that aside for a minute because we want to create this background with our watercolor paper. So let me slide these out of the way. Probably should have shown that next, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how I created that now. I'm going to go ahead and slide this card out of the way because this is a little bit messy. Hey Amelia, so glad you could join us. I am going to use pigment sprinkles. I love the pigment sprinkles. I just discovered them recently and have really been playing with them a lot. And I'm sad that they're going to be on the retiring list as well. So definitely add these to your shopping list if you love this. So they come with 6 different colors. There's Melon Mambo, Bermuda Bay, Gorgeous Grape, Mango Melody. I believe this is Granny Apple. Let me double check. Yes, Granny Apple Green and Daffodil Delight. Today we're just going to use the mango, so I'm going to put these other jars aside. Okay, and I'm going to grab my sheet of watercolor paper and just lay this down in. So I'm using an old paper pumpkin box. Because this can be really messy, you can get a lot of splatter on your work surface. So I'm finding that using a box is really, really helpful. And this stuff goes a long way. So just a few sprinkles will create such a fun appearance. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and open this lid. And you'll see it's got just these little pinholes. So the way I'm going to use it today is I'm just going to tap on the side and just sprinkle some on my layer. So hopefully, ooh, that's a lot. So you guys can see that, hopefully. And then I'll just close this and set it aside. So then I've got a spritzer that I've filled with water. And hopefully you guys can see this. And I'm just going to spritz this layer. And you can put a lot of water or a little water, whatever makes you happy. So I'm just going to let that sit. Might pay out a little bit more as it exciting to see what comes out of this. And you could let it dry and then add another layer if you'd like. Hey, Kathy, so glad you could join us today. So anyway, I'm going to let that sit and dry a little bit. And again, if I am not happy with the appearance when it dries, I can always add more. But it's really important to let this dry. So I'm going to let this sit aside here. And I've created another one. So this is one I did earlier today. So every time I do it, it looks completely different, which I think is cool. So I'm going to use that one. So I'm going to bring back in my front layer that we created. And I have already die cut, I'll show you, using the Detail Bees dies. I used this little honeycomb here, and I die cut 2 of them out of that gold piece that I showed you a bit ago. So these are the pieces I'm going to use. And I'm going to adhere them to the back side of that opening there. So let's go ahead and just flip this over and add a little bit of snail around that opening. And I'm going to do that at the top and the bottom. And then I can place these in just so that they're sticking along. Oh, I want to do it upside down because I am on the back of the layer. Wasn't thinking. Good thing I didn't glue that down too hard. All right, perfect. So now I've got my adhesive there, and if I flip it over to the right side, you can see that I do have the gold facing up, which is important for what I was trying to do. All right, next I'm going to use some dimensional dots, and I want to make sure that this layer stays up in height. So I'm going to put those dots close to the opening so that it keeps my layer standing away from the watercolor paper because I think that looks nicer. You don't have to pop up your layers if you don't want to. If you get a little crazy with some of your layers like I do, I'm going to be excessive here and put quite a few dimensional dots on it. Does it need this many? No, but I love it, so I'm going with it. So let's get the backings off of these. But you don't have to pop up all your layers. Sometimes it can add, the weight of the card can add postage, cost of postage, but I personally think it's well worth the extra postage if it does increase it because I like all the layers. I think they're fabulous. All right, good deal. Okay, so then we're going to lay this right on top of that. And we can kind of move it around a little bit. I've got the page just a little bit shorter and narrower. Isn't that nice? I really think that's really cool. And so now this is ready to just go ahead and adhere right on the front of our card front. So you can use your snail adhesive, you could use liquid adhesive, whatever makes you happy. It's just super important that your paper is all the way dry. If it's not all the way dry, your adhesive is not going to stick very well to the card front. So, all right, we'll get that down. Okay, so I just want to make sure that that doesn't bend down too bad. Okay, fun, right? All right, so let's go ahead and add the rest of our decoration to the front. So let me pull out that scrap of basic black that I had. And we are going to emboss the word hello on here. So this is out of that Honeybee stamp set. So I'm using the embossing buddy to run across the paper. So that's going to remove any oils from, oh, Kathy, I'm glad you're liking it. That's going to remove any oils from the surface of the paper so that hopefully the embossing powder will only stick where I'm stamping. So I'm using a Versamark pad. This is actually one of my cleaner pads. Some of them look much uglier than this one. And I'm going to stamp the hello in Versamark. Okay, we'll move that aside. Powder. So our powders actually come in a plastic container because I make a mess with the smaller containers. So this just works better for me. So I'm just going to slide that in, shake off the excess powder, and you can see it's pretty much sticking just to where I've stamped, which is good. That's what I was looking for. Sometimes I don't use it if I want the little specks. I'm going to pull in my heat tool. Now, I'll tell you, this is a very old heat tool. The heat tool today covers this dangerous metal tip here at the end. I think this one's probably 15 years old. And the new tool that we have is got 2 heat levels. It's got 2, like a low and a high. So this one does not. So it's just going to jump on in. So this is going to make a little bit of noise because this one's louder than our current one. So bear with me as we go ahead and emboss this. And I'm hoping that you guys can see the magic of heat embossing. I just love it. So that powder is going to turn shiny. So let's hope that I'm in there and you can see this. So as the powder melts, it will magically turn shiny. There we go. I hope it's capturing this so you can see how cool heat embossing is. Yay. And all done. Isn't that just so cool? I love it. Heat embossing is one of my favorite things. It's super easy to do and it adds such a nice appearance. All right, so next I'm going to pull in my stitched rectangle dies, and I call these the skinny rectangles, and these are the regular rectangles, and this is just a lone guy here. So I'm going to use the smallest skinny, and I'm going to die cut that hello out. Okay, so the magic of camera. Here's my little hello. I didn't actually show that right, I know. All right, so then this guy is going to just pop up right here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and use some more dimensional dots and get this right on the layer. I'm really loving how that background turned out. It's so different than the last one I did. All right, so we're going to place that, let's say right here. There's no right or wrong place to put it, but that's where I'm putting it. And now we're ready to make our bee. So the piece that we cut out of the front, we're going to go ahead and use that, and we will stamp the larger bee image. And I'm using the black StazOn ink for this. I hope I'm staying in camera so that you guys can see what I'm doing. It's sometimes difficult because you want to pull it closer so that you can see it, and I can't really see it with the camera position. All right, so I've got my black StazOn, and then I am going to use the outline image from the dies, and I'm going to die cut that. All right, so magically pulling that one in. And then I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight marker. So I know that I used Mango Melody here, but because of all the shades of yellow, when I played with this, I felt like the daffodil really looked the best on the bee. So I'm going to go ahead and just color in a little bit here with that marker. And then I want to add some shimmer to his wings. So a little bit of clear Wink of Stella. I'm going to shake that up and then add that shimmer. I hope you guys can see this. It's so cool. I love the Wink of Stella. I'll hold it up in the camera so you can see it. But it adds a really neat appearance to your projects. Let's see if I can lift that. I hope you can see that shimmer of the wings. So pretty. All right, so that guy's going to go right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensional dots on the back of him. I don't know why it's a boy, but I've decided that it's a boy. Isn't that funny how we sometimes call things he and she? All right. See if I can get that in there. I might have been better off using the mini dimensionals, but I was able to get that to fit, and so I'm going with it. And just putting that in the center of the body here. And I think I'm going to angle this one a little bit and put it right there. Cute! I love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so let's pull in some metallic pearls. I'm going to use gold and my take your pick tool. So I'm using the putty end to lift these pearls up so I don't have to chase them all over the place. And we will place some pearls right on our project here. Just adds a nice finishing touch. Cute, 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 cute. So this layout was actually inspired by another demonstrator, Helen Reed. She did something along the lines of this, and I thought it was very pretty. So nice, right? Okay, let's go and do the inside of the card because we want to bring that design inside as well. So I've got my basic black layer that I'm going to duplicate and adhere that to the inside. I'm not going to add texture to this one. You could definitely emboss this one as well, but I'm going to try to keep the height of the layers down a little bit. I just wanted to kind of balance the card a little bit and bring that design inside. All right, so we've got that basic black layer down, and then we're going to go ahead and stamp this one. I'm going to use the smaller bee image, and again, I'm going to pull out my Stays on ink. Now, since this card says hello on the front, I wanted to leave the inside blank so that you could write anything you wanted. You know, a hello is nice and generic, and you can use it for any occasion. It's nice to have these on hand. Then if you need a birthday or thinking of you, or I just want to shout out to somebody that you haven't seen in a while, or maybe there's someone that you know that is quarantined at home that you'd like to say hello to, you definitely could send a hello card. All right, so I'm just going to color in these bee bodies just like I did the one on the outside with my daffodil marker. Perfect. And then let's go ahead and add some shimmer with the Wink of Stella as well. Why not? That doesn't add any bulk, and it adds some interest to the inside. Cute, 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 cute. I'm just scribbling in a little bit. Very nice. All right, so that is done, and now we're ready to go ahead and adhere this to the card inside. So let's open that up. And let's get our adhesive on the back. My snail here. All right, and we will adhere that down in place. Wonderful. Love it. So look how different these two turned out. So this was my original one, and then this one. I think this turned out really cool with all that dark and light. And let's see how the one that we spritzed a moment ago looks like, how it's coming along as it dries. So again, it's going to look completely different than these two. Nice, right? So I'll have to put that one together later so you guys can see it. So I hope that you loved these. Again, sadly, the Honeybee bundle is one of the ones that's on the retiring list, as well as the pigment sprinkles. Oh, hate to see these things go because they are so much fun. A little messy, but as long as you've got your workstation set up properly, you will hopefully enjoy playing with these as much as I have. So if you'd like to order these supplies, again, I will put the supply list with links to each of the items in the video description after the video. If you order using the host code 4PAZDKVH, between now and Friday, I will send you the make and take packet to recreate this card along with your thank you note. And if you enjoy doing projects like this with me, I do have a monthly card club. There's a product option as well as a tutorial only option. So the product option is only available to those in the US, but the tutorial option is available globally. And I would love for you guys to join me. So we have a lot of fun making some really great cards every month. So, all right. Until next week, I will see you all next Tuesday. Have a great week, and I hope that everyone is staying safe and having some time to papercraft. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.